back. Back in motherfucking action, man. Full effect. I'm here in 3 dimensions, baby. You know what time it is, nigga. You know I got the same lighter click as Wayne, nigga. When that lighter click go off, y'all niggas love that shit, huh? The fuck going on, man? What's up with you? I know. I want to say how y'all been, but it probably ain't even the same motherfuckers, man. Probably ain't even the same motherfuckers. Y'all niggas know how January been going. Hold on.
You're making us pay for water, you son of a... You're making us pay for grapes?
Are you?
Apples?
We got a lot to fucking talk about. We got a lot to talk about, man. Yo, what the fuck is going on? I feel like I haven't done this in a while. So listen, I'm not gonna make any excuses. We're not gonna belabor anything, right? We're gonna get right into everything, but I just want to say that you can expect regular uploads again. For those of y'all listening on the PYO feed, I know y'all niggas, like, if you left over from PYO, I know you're like, damn, that's the wrong music. This nigga done gave us a solo again. Stop playing with me when you should be staying with me. Stop playing with me when you should be staying with me. That's a very important way to view this. But I'm going to do the best that I can to put together what I can for y'all when I can. So when we got guests, when we got Prada on, when we got Biggs on, we got whoever the fuck we got on, the ones that y'all love and the ones that y'all don't love, then that's going to be what it is. When it's just me, I'm sorry, my nigga. I can't. How I'm gonna put y'all on just me? That's what this is, right? I can't do a PYO podcast if I don't have the PYO Boys, nigga. I'm sorry. It can't be done. So you're getting this. You're getting this. Maybe I'll figure out some way to structure it where I could be more 100% on getting our PYO content. But it is what it is at this point. You understand what I'm saying? And here we is, nigga. Applaud that. That's a young nigga right there. If I ever seen one. You understand what I'm saying? Let's dive right into it. Listen to me, man. They want to know what's been going on. What's been going on? January been beating my ass. Brand new year. Right? I didn't even do the New Year's resolution shit. Because, nigga, the way that I lived the whole last year, that created the resolution, nigga. That gave me the resolution I needed, nigga. It gave me what I needed to know that I could take care of myself this year. I ain't got to do no whole big bowl. I'm not saying nothing against niggas that do New Year's resolutions. I'm very aware of the power of symbolism and what it means to niggas like you and niggas like me in certain aspects, right? But I'm just telling you that I don't, I ain't got to make no resolution, nigga. If I tell myself I got me, I got me. I might not got me in record time, nigga. You understand what I'm saying? I might not got me in record time, but at the end of the day, I'ma have me more than you got you. Nah, probably not. But yeah, man, from everything you could imagine, man, a nigga been sick. You probably can hear it right now in my voice if you're not a new person, because I don't know, the old people probably don't even know I'm still doing this. But if you're not a new person, you probably hear my voice like, God damn, what the fuck happened to you? A lot, nigga. Nigga got sick 11 times. Nigga, I done caught COVID, man. I done had blackouts, woke up in the hospital, all type of shit. Now listen to me. I'ma keep it so funky with y'all in ways that niggas is not prepared to keep it funky. Applaud me. Cause what I'm about to say, not a lot of niggas want to say out here, man. Alright, end of the year, I was dealing with some real demons. I was really dealing with them all year. A lot of us do, right? I was really dealing with them all year, and I had like milestones, right? Like throughout the whole year, I was like, all right, if I make it to this point, I know I did right. If I make it to this point and I'm all right, I know I did right. Because that's what happens when we get enveloped in shit. Sometimes it feels like we can't really see, no pun intended, the forest for the trees, right? It feels like you can't see past what's right in front of you. I remember during a very, 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 very low point in my life, a serious low point in my life, when I called one of my dogs crying. You know what I'm saying? And he, yo, what's wrong? My dog's not used to seeing me like that. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't even seeing me. I'm on the phone. I just needed to talk to somebody who I know been through some shit too. Somebody who knew how to speak to my spirit in that moment. And a nigga asked me what's wrong. I tell him, I tell straight up, yo, I can't see tomorrow no more, bro. Like, not in the scariest sense of the way somebody could mean that. Because there is a more terrifying way a person can mean that. But it just, for me, when shit gets to a certain point, And I'm dealing with emotions that you probably been dealing with forever. Things that have been welling up inside of you forever, but that like all, right, you've all forced it into this one fucking thing. And now when that thing falls apart, you can't see shit, right? Because maybe the only thing keeping you going was the nonsense that you was burying behind that thing, right? So like having that thing was allowing you to walk with all that extra fucking shit, with that fucking monkey on your back. But me personally, no more monkeys. I'm lying. Mad monkeys. Mad monkeys on my back. That's how we kicking it, nigga. That's how I'm. But at the same time, we was evolving through a lot of stuff. I had a lot of personal growth that made a nigga proud last year, for real, 110%. But at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that I was putting on the back burner, like, yo, I can't handle that right now. I can't deal with that right now. I know by this date, I'm going to look back and be like, oh, damn. That was funny. I know by this date, I'm going to look back and be like, damn, wasn't that crazy? And you know, you got all year for that shit, right? 1 month turned to 2 months, turned to 4 months, 6, 12, whatever, nigga. But by the time you get to the end, you like, whoa, I wasn't supposed to be sad on New Year's. I wasn't supposed to be sad on New Year's Day, nigga. What the fuck? That's all 365, gang. I know. Niggas like, yo, this nigga talking a lot, but he said he blacked out, woke up in the hospital, all type of shit. What happened? Me personally, I think, number one, shit is changing, right? My body's changing. That sounds so 13 years old, but my body's changing. I'm becoming older, right? And that's the annoying part about being the age that I am now. Is like, number one, I can't stop fucking talking about my age, which is like terrible. Because it means maybe I'm not as old as I fucking think I am. Because that's some real young nigga shit. Or some old nigga shit. But number two, I'm in that phase where I can't call myself old in front of certain niggas, and I can't call myself young in front of certain niggas. It's really becoming a debacle. And what's even crazier is I'm increasingly around the people who won't let me call myself young. Much less. And I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. We're not here to age shame, because I don't know how old none of y'all are. I'm just saying that as I'm now 27 years old, I find myself around 19, 20, 21-year-olds far less, markedly less. All right? It's a good goddamn thing. Because if I was old enough to have been drinking for several years and spent all my time around a bunch of people who barely could, you would judge me, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Maybe you should. But yeah, like, sometimes with me, as you know, I'm sipping right now currently, we got to be careful, because a lot of the times our vices will become crutches, right? And I've always been a bit of a binge drinker, right? Where like there'll be seasons where I'm drinking a lot, like maybe daily. But even like now that I get like kind of some distance, I realize that sometimes it's tied to shit. See, I like to drink when I do the podcast because, first of all, let's describe the fashion in which I drink. Because my man Prada, if this is the PYO feed, you know Prada, right? He said something, I think the last time we might have potted PYO style, he said something, but he might have said it to me in personal conversation as well. He said something about how, like, yo, it's the way you drink, brother. You gotta remember, like, you drink a lot when you do drink, but sometimes you're in the crib, you babysitting a cup, you pour your shit exactly how you like it. You might not refill that cup for the rest of the night, and that's a fact. I might pour my cup, mix my shit one time, and I might fall asleep with half of that drink left. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's when you vibing, right? It's all my Brooklyn niggas and all that. That's when you liming, right? Liming just mean you chilling, you know what I'm saying? Big up if you know about that. But it just is what it is, right? But it's different when you outside and when you doing this and when you doing that and when y'all got bottles and when the shit da-da-da. Like, life just come at you a little different. And as you shift and as you change, certain things become non-negotiable, especially when you, like, recover from COVID. Right? Like, around the time of New Year's, I was recovering from COVID. All this other shit. And some of y'all are putting it together right now. Like, damn, this nigga woke up in the hospital because he drank too much? Is that what happened? Oh, a mix of things. You see, nights become flabbergasting. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to say everything that happened that night. Not because anything particularly wild happened that night. Many embarrassing things happened that night. And it was a little symbolism. Because where I was that night, crazy. Where I was that night is somewhere that honestly, the last time I was a very bittersweet occasion for me. And I did not have fun. And I really didn't drink much, if any at all. I think there might have been, I think I might have partook a tad bit. It might have been a similar situation where niggas had a table and shit like that. And you know, I partook, you know what I mean? But it was a lot going on for me emotionally. Actually, that night, I'll never forget that night, right? So New Year's, here I am. All right, boom, we conquering the dragon. We doing this. And look at this. Happens to be in a place that I might have some bad memories and all that other shit. So, like, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, but like I said, I'm coming off COVID and shit is different, right? Like, I've been noticing sometimes, like, when I go a little too hard, because I've always been able to just kind of go hard and then stop when I want to stop, right? Like, I don't know what it is. If a nigga liver and kidneys be working overtime. And when I don't like saying that because people think I'm saying that like a lot of people would say that, right? As like some type of compliment to yourself. Like, oh, I'm Superman. I can drink myself to death and not notice it. No, right? That's not me paying myself no type of compliment. This is perhaps why as I'm fumbling around the dark trying to grab hold of who 27, 28-year-old Leak is, this may be why I'm having a bit of trouble because my perception of the line, my nigga, is a little askew. Check that out. That's old English. I'm giving y'all niggas old English. Thee, thou, wouldst. I'm saying, but my perception of the line, it may be a bit skewed because quite honestly, a nigga could get hella faded. First of all, I don't get hangovers, right? I woke up in the hospital, not hungover. You understand what I'm saying? Woke up, checked myself. Damn, it ain't shit in me. Ain't shit stuck up. First of all, we got to be honest. I shout out to the beautiful and hardworking nurses. And I'm not just talking like, I use the term like beautiful. I got to remind y'all, I'm still politically correct. Paul, you know what I'm saying? That's still who I'm is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went from Party Paul to politically correct Paul. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Party Pete. That's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Gave me the Party Paul to run with. You know what I'm saying? But really, I come from the school of Party Pete. You know what I'm saying? And Party Pete to tell you, we make mistakes out here. We're not perfect, my nigga. We're not. You understand what I'm saying? But I did wake up in the hospital without a hangover, just mad confused because I had no idea how I got there. And I won't tell y'all exactly how I got there. But a lot was going on, brother. A lot was going on. And it's hard to be embarrassed about things that you honestly weren't there for. Right? And so it's hard for me to act like shame plays the biggest role in everything, really, especially like knowing what was going on with me at the time and some of the things that's still going on with me at the time. On a more personal note, it's funny because when I start to go through the notes for the episodes of these podcasts, what I'll do is I'll use my iPad and I'll use my note-taking app. And a lot of things share space in there, right? So sometimes I open up one of the other tabs or see a tab that was already open, and like it's ironic from around that time. Like if you look at some of like the little short messages to myself or like poetry and stuff like that I was writing, it's like, yeah. And me looking at it now on what must be like January something or fucking other, but me looking at that type of shit now, January 31st. Now, I didn't want y'all to think I was an addict because I got a sip again. It's funny now that like I'm looking at poetry from January 8th, January 14th. That's like, damn, you was that sad. And it's like, I'm not that sad today. But I wasn't that sad the week before New Year's, right? And the week before that. So it's just a constant reminder that life is that way. It's an ebb and flow. And when you deal with demons and when you deal with depression and all that other shit, you need to manage it because what happens with us as people, and I've noticed mostly with myself, so perhaps this is anecdotal, my nigga. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I've noticed is we so eager to rise past flaws that we see in ourselves. We're so eager to rise past things that we don't want to be attached to anymore, that we don't want to have as a part of our identity anymore. That like once we get a good amount of space between us and the thing, we have this burning desire to like stand on top of the mountaintop and scream out that we've conquered it, right? That this is gone. But like, come on now. If you're grown and you deal with depression, you have to understand that that's something that you're going to manage your whole entire life. If you can get to a place where it's something that you rarely are crippled by, it's something that really never sends you into tailspins, that doesn't affect your decision making and shit like that, then you have done what is called the work. right? But if you've truly gotten to that place, number one, you're lucky, and number two, you understand the type of management that it takes to get there. And it's like, it's not like you don't get a car, drive it off the lot, and then like you good for 10 years. You got to get tune-ups, right? You got to get inspections and all that shit. And even if your car never break down on you in no crazy extreme way, you wouldn't then say that like that's why all the tune-ups and shit like that was bullshit, right? That's not how. It's not. If you hopefully that's not the conclusion you would draw, right? If anything, it would strengthen your faith in that whole system, right? So when you see yourself doing a lot of self-managing and all that other shit, and it starts to work and it starts to become easy, now we start to want to get to this place where we don't have to do the shit. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to have to wake up and wrestle and cope, my nigga. That's what it is. That's what it is. You know how many mornings I wake up and I gotta take time just to cope? Just to deal. The copium is out of this world. I can't understand what's going on with me, nigga. With me, you want me to understand what's going on with me? So you want me to understand what's going on in the Middle East, and you want me to understand what's going on in Russia and Eastern Europe, and you want me to understand what's going on with me? Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. You understand what I'm saying? But I joke way too much because we do want to figure out what the fuck going on with us, right? That's the whole point of this thing. And I hope that Prada and Biggs and myself, I hope that we have never for one moment made it seem like that's not one of the reasons that we even jump on podcasts in the first place, is to really try to relate to people and iron things out. Like I always kind of needed an artistic outlet, and doing music has familiarized me with sharing my artistic outlet. I'm honestly much more comfortable sharing podcasts than I am sharing music, because I think that my music was coming from such a personal place, whereas my podcast is coming from a personal place as well. But these are the type of conversations I'll have with you if you know me, right? I'm fairly certain that people can relate to these conversations because I have these conversations with real people all the time, right? You don't burst out into fucking song all the time. I do that, but they're not my songs. So it's tough to say shit like that. I do break out in songs. I don't know if this is offensive to say or not. It's 100% offensive to say, but it's a little spectrumy. How like, I really constantly have a song in my head and I can't really get away from it no matter what. And it could be random. Nigga, I had Jailhouse Rock, not even the Elvis Presley version. I had jail rock, boy, throw a party in the county jail. Nigga, I had that shit stuck in my head for 2 weeks. Nigga, I remember I sing that shit and I wasn't around a soul that knew it. You understand what I'm saying? I was doing too much, but this is what it is, nigga. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Motherfucker be walking down the street and ain't no music playing, but here I am, nigga, diddy bopping. I don't care. I love it. It is what it is, baby. It is what it is, nigga. Whatever floats your boat. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever gets you down this canal. You know what I'm saying? Whatever gets you where you going, nigga. Whatever, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, something that's always super important to me is to just have a space for people to be real. Because I feel like another thing that I always try to tell people, especially I think people younger than me, because this is something that I struggle with really up until very, very recently. So anytime I'm around a 22 or 23 or 24-year-old, these are things that I try to impart on people, that like life in a lot of ways, see, you through all the movies and everything like that, they try to pump this really good message that needs context, right? That's like, fuck the game, be yourself. Okay, fine. When you're by yourself and when you're with people that you love, as a matter of fact, you should actively seek to create communities of people that you love and trust that you can stop playing the game with. You understand what I'm saying? That you can just be yourself. And ironically, them be the same niggas that you jump on the game with. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to me. Quick on my feet all the time. I'm like a liger. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like you got to create them type of spaces and that type of energy. Sure. But the life that you live and interact with, you walk in several different paths, playing several different positions. And just like in sports, damn, I don't like metaphors. I feel like metaphors are really good when you're good at using them, but they often weaken your argument. Like, is it not a strong enough argument? This is what it's like to be in my head. But is it not a strong enough argument for you to simply make it and have it stand on its own? I feel like the dumber you are, the more metaphors you use, and then the wider you reach across. And just like me turning something real into a sports metaphor feels wrong. but I have to do it. But similar to sports, the person who is able to be great at several different roles can often be worth just as much or more as the person who's phenomenal at just playing one role. You know, especially in sports that reward versatility. And guess what life is, nigga? A sport that rewards versatility. In your life, you might want to play several roles. You might want to be a mom. You might want to be an employee. You might want to be an employer. You might want to be a business owner. You might want to be a student. You might want to be a teacher. You can feasibly do all of those things in one fucking lifetime, several of them at once. You understand what I'm saying? And the better you are at doing those things, you know what I mean? And you can put it in any terms for anybody who live any walk of life. They understand. You go to church, that's not really you. And if it is really you, motherfuckers think you weird outside of church. And if you bring the real you to church, guess what? Motherfuckers gonna think you weird in church, nigga. They will. I swear to... they will. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's just the way this shit is. So life is about playing a game. And it is about wearing hats. It is about having, you know, different hats and wearing many faces. But... right? The key to the game, the way to make the game look easy, the way to really, really, really do it to them, send the fans going wild. Oh my God. Do it again. The way to get that reaction is to never let it slip, never even let it look like you playing a game. The best actors, you forget. You forget that they playing a character. And if you're really a moron, you walk up to them in public and call them the name of the character somebody paid them to play. You know what I'm saying? We get real silly with celebrities, right? So you might walk up to Leo. Ah, damn. I'm uncultured. Am I going to have to go Denzel here? Am I going to have to be that guy? Yeah, I am. You might walk up to Will Smith and go, yo, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad. Nigga, what? Like, yeah, like, if you, like, joking, like, that's one thing. And I guess you kind of are joking because you know the name Muhammad, nigga. You know that shit. But, like, I love you, man. Like, nigga, what? You love him. Hold on. You better not walk up to Cardi B and tell her you love her. What the fuck is wrong with you? But you know, that's how you want that from the fans, though. You might not want to be a fan unless that's how you like to kick it, in which case, please, by all means. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I you know, if you listen to this podcast before, which you probably haven't because I just went on this fucking hiatus, but you know that, like, I'm just not super into celebrity culture. Like, I've had my day with it. Like, I don't want to act like it is not something I've ever been into, but you want the fans, right? Even if you don't want to be a fan, you want the fans to be in awe. You want them to give you a standing ovation for the role you played. So you want to go to work, crush that shit. Get a standing ovation for the type of employee you is. You want to go home, be a son, be a mother, whatever the fuck it is, and crush that shit to the point where the crowd gonna give you a standing ovation for how you just did that. You know what I'm saying? If you own a pet, you want to be that type of pet owner. If you fucking, like, you know what I mean? If you own a business, you hopefully want to be that type of business owner. Like, you know what I'm saying? That is simply what we must do. We must play this game. We must play these games. And for my whole life, I've struggled with playing the game. In fact, playing the game can oftentimes make me sad. I've not been to enough therapy to let you know the exact reasons behind all that, nor do I think myself qualified enough to necessarily self-diagnose myself on this motherfucker. So I will not. I'm just saying, sometimes we get so lost in the sauce and the fact that, like, what we are at our core is so much greater than the game that we forget you still got to wake up and go out there and play this game, my nigga. And if you're not going to go out there and play it, you got to be satisfied with with two things, one or the other. You know what I'm saying? Not reaping none of the rewards that come with the game. You know what I'm saying? Or fucking changing the game. Those are your options if you're not going to play the fucking game. Be comfortable with not reaping none of the rewards that players receive, or change the whole fucking game, at least for the motherfuckers that you care about, so that y'all not even playing the same game and therefore different things are rewarded. You know, does that make sense? That's a long-winded way of telling you niggas, 25 minutes in, this is the dovetail to a story I started fucking like 15 minutes ago, bro. But you gotta understand, I'm potting. I ain't potting a minute, and I'm built for this. I'm drinking, I'm smoking, and I still reconnect because I gotta finish telling y'all. So I wakes up in the hospital, right? Everything is going swell. I'm having a good night. Boom, wake up in the hospital, right? There was projectile vomit theatrics. Apparently, I don't remember this. I was told this, although I do remember through closed eye. Not really sure how things got this bad because it's like we like coming in and out of consciousness at this point, right? Like I'm up doing shit, or rather I'm sitting trying to hold on for dear life. And you know, when you get to a blackout point, they say like it's like if your brain is a camera, it's like if somebody keeps it recording but just it runs out of memory. So everything being recorded from this point on is no longer being stored. You won't be able to go back and look at any of it later. But it's being recorded, right? So, like, I do have this vague memory of somebody being like, yo, you okay? And I'm like, whoa, what's going on? Why are people asking me if I'm okay? Am I here? Are we at this point of the night? Everything was just going so swell. And then, I remember being like I keep saying, yeah. And then I go, right? My mouth fills up with vomit. I'm like, oh, shit. And then I put my hand up like, all right, maybe I'm not all right. You know what I'm saying? And then it's gone. It's gone. I don't remember shit after that. You know what I mean? That's it. And then you just wake up in a fucking gurney, nigga? Nigga, I woke up in a gurney, nigga. Yeah. Woke up in a gurney with all my jewelry on and shit. Nigga, I'm trying to tell you. Some noise for the big dilf. Security was pussy. Should have stole all my shit. Security was pussy in there because had it been me, or, you know what I mean, you might not have made it to the hospital with like 2 rings on and 3 chains and shit like that. You might just not have made it with all that. You might not have lost it all, but you might not have made it with all that. Shit, I woke up in the hospital, no jacket. I'm like, whoa, baby. Now listen, the spot had a coat Chizak. Like, I don't want you to think. The spot definitely had a coat Chizneck. So your boy ended up getting the jacket back. I'm just saying, like, it was a nice jacket. You know what I mean? And that's how shit go when shit unaccounted for. Like, I'm like, whoa, wallet still here, all my cash on me. Like, nah, I mean, trying to act like it was no crazy shit. Like, I wasn't out here with no fucking, I wasn't out here looking like your favorite fucking celebrity. But, you know, I was going out for New Year's and I was dressed like I was going out for New Year's. You understand what I'm saying? So to put a pin in all that, they could wake up in a gurney in an emergency room. I'm like across from like somebody who's clearly like washing up off some shit, coming down from a wild high, a crazy high, a party high. You know what I'm saying? This was somebody that you might colloquially refer to as a fiend. That I'm not comfortable referring to as that unless I got at least 2 other niggas on the podcast. You know what I'm saying? I can't, when it's just me on here, it's certain shit I just don't know if I should be saying, bro. Like, I mean, like, you'll find I'm persnickety like that, you know what I'm saying? About some of the precociousness, you know what I'm saying? I got to tread lightly. It's a bit precarious. Alliteration. You see what I'm saying? Please. I'm getting all the energy out because I ain't potted for that fucking long, nigga. That's all it says. It's just been that long. Have you missed me? Have you missed me? That's all it is. You gonna get silly shit because I've been waiting so long to just say something. You know what I'm saying? I know they thought I know niggas thought, nah, he quit. You know what I'm saying? First of all, if I do quit, so what? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? Who are you? For real, who are you? Unless you're a listener, in which case, thank you. But nobody gonna care if I quit anyway. So if I quit, let me quit. I'm not quitting, no. You know what I'm saying? I'm not quitting. But, you know, I just try to give it to that niggas the real raw, nigga, and I don't want a lot of niggas like it. So between shit like that, and that's not the only time that's happened to me in this past year, right? Like, waking up in the hospital is extreme. And the nurse was fucking done with me. She was done with me, like, you gotta understand how traumatizing it is for me to, like, be, last I remember, like, hanging out, and I wake up to somebody being like, sir, it's about that time. And, you know, it's New Year's, so that she's done. They're done. They're tired. They don't give a fuck. None of these stories are unique. I've seen 15 of you tonight, and I'm over it. I respect that. She was like, sir, you gotta go. And in my head, I'm like, damn, what I farted or something? Like, how are you so sure that I was okay? How are you so sure that it was time for me to go? I don't see no track marks from no IVs and no shit like that. Like, I don't think y'all juiced me up or nothing. Like, and I was definitely fucking incoherent when I came in here. Probably incorrigibly so, nigga. So I would love to know how the fuck you came to the conclusion, madam, that it was time for me to go. But if you ever been in the ER, whether you've been in the bed or out the bed, I think you understand what type of scene it was in there. A nigga had came to party, but he did not come to party that hard, nigga. It did not need to be that type of day for me. It was still like 10 in the morning. I was like, the getting is still good. I can figure many things out. You know what I'm saying? I still have everything on me. I still might be able to get my jacket. Like, the whole world is in a good place right now. You know what I'm saying? Let me get home, charge this phone or whatever. I'm hitting pharmacies here and there. I'm getting electrolytes in me. I'm like, damn, bro. Because I know when I get home and charge this motherfucking phone, I know what's going to be on this phone. My compatriots worried about me. And also, I know I got to figure out what the fuck happened. Niggas end up calling my cousin, all type of shit. Nigga, oh, bro, it was tough. It was tough. But listen, I had to do some restructuring. And I had to do some rethinking. I got COVID, and then now I'm dealing with what I feel like is a tail end of like either COVID again or like some flu-like type shit. Like, I was out of commission. I couldn't move for 2-3 days. Like, I missed 3 days of work. I work 7 days a week, but I missed 3 days of work behind that shit. You understand what I'm saying? And I can't be in the gym like I want to be when I'm sick. So, you know, my respiratory system isn't the same. Clearly, I'm smoking, so it ain't like I'm playing with a full deck anyway. It is what it is, baby. Like, so much shit has been going on, and I had to decide whether or not it even made sense to keep potting. I had to decide whether or not it even made sense to keep potting. Now, we own the whole production mechanism, right? So it's not like it's otherworldly difficult. It's not like it's a ridiculous endeavor to pod, right? I would never act like it's a burden that like I just sit in a room by myself or with my dogs and we politic and bullshit and laugh. Like, I didn't think about what Falling in the Forest is, my nigga. Like, it's a nigga getting on a mic. Nobody's really listening and laughing at shit that he would say to himself anyway. You know, but I did have to do some restructuring and just thinking about whether or not it made sense, right? The whole last year has been fucking hard. I know I keep saying it, but I'm going to keep saying it. Because I just know how it is. And I know that somebody out there knows how it is too, right? Like, I wanted to cave. I wanted to crumble. I wanted to disassociate and just lose myself. Like, I wanted that. I'll be honest with you. That's, in many ways, what I wanted. Why? Because it's what's familiar to me, right? When shit starts going south or shit starts getting negative, what my subconscious wants to do is use it as an excuse to fall off the wagon or not try anymore. And then, right, I got a built-in excuse for not succeeding or for not taking steps forward, right? It's like, well, I stopped trying because so much shit stopped going right anyway. And I know I'm done being that nigga, right? I was done being that nigga this time last year. You understand what I'm saying? But when you dealing with that type of shit now, as the newer person, the new version of you, when you're doing that now, everything has to change, because now, in order to really test if you're that new you for real, in order to really make that like apparent to yourself, now you have to go through challenging situations. It's easy to be the new you when everything is peachy keen, and I wish that for everybody. Honestly, I know it's not how the world works, so I don't have no problem wishing it for you, knowing that it's not going to happen. But I really hope that everybody's journey goes that as soon as they make the switch, they get the easiest road to just jumping into the new them. I want that for people. Sometimes I feel like I'm so insecure, and sometimes I feel like maybe I'm the only person that has trouble doing that. I know I'm not, because, right, I'm rational, and I try not to use my anecdotal intrusive thoughts as like like my fucking like lens through which I view the world. But I wish that for people. That would be so great if like the new you wasn't tested and challenged in ways that could break it and send you back to a place that just going back to would hurt you, would leave you disappointed in yourself and the world around you. But we know that's not how it works. We know that the true measure of a man or woman is in how he acts and where he stands, not when things are good, but when things are bad, when things are not good. So if this character that you're building, and I don't say character in a fucking facetious sense, like I'm talking character like your measure, your worth, like you're trying to develop character, right? So if this character that you're trying to fucking whittle out, if it is strong, how will you know it is strong? And if it cannot carry you through the adversities that you were already facing that led you to create this, that led you to forge this character, if it cannot cut through those things, why have you forged it? If you didn't need it because you're not going to face those things, or if it doesn't work because it's not strong enough to cut through those things, why did you forge it? Maybe you forged it by mistake. Maybe you didn't mean to forge this. Maybe you thought this was it. Okay, you know it's not now. It's better to know so that you could fix. Because ultimately, and this is with respect to the people that suffer from like suicidal ideations, right? Because obviously a little bit of what I'm going to say is going to be different. But obviously, unless you suffer from those things, you plan to see tomorrow, right? And it don't make sense to have a worse tomorrow. If every yesterday and today been shitty, then you kind of only got up to go. And it's hard to get there. I used to always say to somebody, a dear friend of mine, I used to always say to her, I feel like I got to hit rock bottom, or I feel like I've already hit rock bottom. And then one time, one of the last times we spoke, I said, there's a good rock bottom and there's a bad rock bottom. And I think everybody needs to hit the good rock bottom, where you have no one to look around and blame anymore, where you have fully exhausted, not giving a fuck and not moving forward in any way and all that shit. Like, and you cry and it's tough. And it's just the hardest place to fucking be. Where I'm talking about right now, that shit don't exist on no maps, player. I'm sorry. There's no longitude, my nigga. There's no latitude. None of that. I don't know where it is in relation to the equator. I don't know. It's not a fun place to be. It's not a comfortable place to be, but it's a place a lot of us have to go. And I'm trying to do work on myself personally. Because now sometimes I wonder, like, maybe people don't got to go there if they have healthy structures and if they have a healthier disposition. Right? Maybe people who don't necessarily struggle with depression and some of these other things, maybe people who are able to get therapy that resonates with them and really, really have guidance and people that they can connect with that have shared that experience and all that. And like, maybe those are the people that don't have to be there. Right? But for a lot of us to break through and get to the other side of a person who's really not benefiting themselves and really not benefiting the people that they love, who love them, I think you gotta get to that point, bro. And sometimes I'll go out to the bar or to wherever, and I'm watching people run from that. And there's a difference in when you going out as a person running from it and when you going out as a person dealing with it. Or, you know what I mean? So it's like, even that you start to see, like, where it's just like, you know, as a motherfucker that got a monkey on his back, you can look at another motherfucker and see that monkey, nigga. Pause. Wow. I just never thought I'd ever put that turn of phrase together. But you can look at another nigga and see that he too has a monkey on his back, nigga. Like, that's just the easiest shit in the world to spot when you deal with it. Not always, right? Not everybody makes it obvious, but way more people make it obvious than they think. And if you people watch, you just catch certain shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always as easy as somebody like being on coke. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker be on coke and like in the middle of them talk, even if you didn't know they was on coke, like every third vowel they like start moving their jaw weird, like Leo in Wolf of Wall Street or something, like when he tried to crack, you know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever had him shaking his jaw like that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you see people got it, like they start breaking into cartoon-esque poses, like, you know what I'm saying, mid-conversation and shit, start Johnny Bravo in and all that, like, you like, damn, nigga, like, you rolling like that right now, you high as a motherfucker, ain't you? Me too. Not off that, but like, you know what I'm saying, I'm a talk, nigga, I'm on blunt number, whatever, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, but say all that to say that, yeah, I wanted to give up, bro. I wanted to lose and go back to my comfortable space of honestly being a loser in the sense of being content with losing to myself. That's what I wanted, and that's not what I expect of myself. And so it's not what I chose to give myself. Right? But to an extent, I've kind of found like what's my saving grace. And God knows I still got a lot of shit to deal with, bro. I still got a lot of shit to sit down with, for real, right? Like, maybe one of these days I have to sit down without this reefer and drink and think, my nigga, perhaps. Tune in. But I got a deeper understanding of who I am, right? This whole time fighting this fight a little bit differently than I fought it before. I have a deeper understanding of who I am. I'm going to continue to get a deeper understanding of who I am. And who I've been pretending to be. I understand that motherfucker too. Right? The good and the bad. The person I was pretending to be that I should have never pretended to be. Like dumb. Right? Like how at one point in my life intelligence was awarded, and then I found myself in one situation where it wasn't being rewarded, and then like decided to hide from everybody forever that I was fairly intelligent. Right? Like, but then you got like the good things that you're pretending to be. Like, maybe you extra polite when you step outside and at work. Like, that's good, but you just want to understand it, right? Like, and everything like that. But, like, yeah, I got a deep understanding of who I am and who I've been pretending to be. And a clearer set of goals. I know what I want for me. I did not know what I wanted for me a few years ago. I did not know what I wanted for me, honestly, before 2023. Because I wasn't putting myself in spaces and I wasn't giving myself room to grow, and really never would have chose to. Really never would have chose. Things happened in my life that I really couldn't control, and it was being put up against the person I knew I wanted to be, and I wasn't being that person. And so things had to happen that's out of my control that I deserve to happen. And I was like, damn, the new you has to react to this differently, doesn't he? And damn, we almost won just now. We almost did a whole podcast without no ghetto shit, but y'all know I got a phone call. It is what it is, nigga. But yeah, like, you get a clear set of goals, and at that time I was like, the new you that you claiming to be has to react to this how he would react to this, right? And through that, I went through some of the hardest stuff that I ever allowed myself to go through, and it made me a better person. Not just that it made me better, because a lot of people, it just makes them better, quote unquote, and they run away with that. And it doesn't actually help them grow as a person. It doesn't make them a better person in their own eyes. I'm not even just like, I can't define for you what it means to be a better person. But what's important for me is I think it made me a better person. It made me a bit of more of a dick in a little bit of a sense, but like in the sense that I used to be petrified to be a jerk. I still don't like to be an asshole or be mean, but like, I used to not want to speak my mind because I was afraid it might hurt somebody's feelings and shit like that. I still won't go out of my way to hurt a person's feelings, but I've learned to stand up for myself because I've stopped blaming other people for me feeling misunderstood in most of my interactions, right? I started taking accountability for it where I can, right? If you don't advocate for yourself and you get to walk away feeling like somebody bitched you because they want to advocate for you, unless you have like a crippling social disorder going on there where like nobody could ever expect you to rise over that. You have to rise over it, right? But that realization that, and you've been there, right? Maybe you haven't, but that realization that you don't have to eat every spoonful of shit with a smile. I don't need to love everything I'm doing neither. Sometimes the hard shit, like sometimes you don't love the hard shit, but you love the reward, so you're willing to go through the hard shit. You blessed to enjoy the hard shit. Some people enjoy the hard shit and they crazy, but they blessed, right? I understand in certain ways, not to be that nigga, but like, say like going to the gym, lifting weights. Like, I'm really enjoying my health journey because there's aspects of it that I enjoy, right? It's like kind of a cheat code that I like throwing weights around because I don't have to force myself to go to the gym. I'll be wanting to go. You know what I'm saying? I'll be wanting to see if I can throw heavier shit around this week or if I'm finally able to throw this shit more times. Like, right? Like, I get the same type of joy I used to get when I used to play basketball from that. That activates that part of my brain and it makes me content, right? And so that allows me to be patient and that allows me to be consistent, right? I feel like enjoying the grind, enjoying the hard parts can be a benefit, but you don't gotta feel like something wrong with you if you don't, because there's plenty of shit that I don't enjoy the hard part of. Like I gotta learn how to cook, y'all, and I'm mad pussy about it. Like I'm taking forever to learn how to cook. I'm about to have to buy myself a little cookbook and just force myself to start making recipes out of it, because I'm intimidated by learning how to cook, and I really have no desire. And maybe who knows, I'm a psychopath like that. Like, maybe I will just fall in love with dicing shit and fucking putting it in hot water. But, you feel me? Like, as of now, I don't know that I'll enjoy that. So I'll be running from this shit, right? But, to finish my thought, I know that I don't need to love everything I'm doing, but I'll do the things I need to do. But on top of that, I know that I will go crazy if I don't do things I love. You don't have to love everything you do, but you have to do things that you love for the sake of you loving them. Because in the world that we live in, we must conform to certain things that we don't want to. I'm not telling anybody to conform to anything specific, but I'm saying, like, you don't get to come up with your own system of time. At the end of the day, it's still going to have to revolve around what we in your specific culture have deemed time to be. So, like, yeah, you don't want to call 5 o'clock 5 o'clock. You want to call it some other shit. You want to have 18 hours in your shit. All right. But your job say you got to be in at 5 in the morning. You find wherever the fuck on your clock 5 in the morning is, and you're going to be at work for 8 hours from then to the next time. That's it, motherfucker. Like, you call it whatever you want. You can have 14 months in your year. You can do that. When it's tax time, though, it's 12. You know what I'm saying? We all go for 12. You know what I mean? You can use your own little calculator and break it down to make it fit your shit. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to get your receipt for 12. You feel me? Like, it's shit like that. It's shit like that don't make no sense that I be saying. But yeah, like, also, another weighty part of this shit be like, yo, bro, this shit that I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive myself for. And that leads to, like, other fear, right? Where it's just like, maybe I will get to a point where I can forgive myself for things. I don't know. But that leads to a fear of how long will I be doing things that I can't forgive myself for? Now you're afraid of the next thing that you'll do that you won't be able to forgive yourself for. And that's not a good way to live. It's not a good way to live. It's not a positive way to live. It's the opposite. And you know, before I actually started recording this episode, it was going to look so different because it was going to be negative. But I wrestled with it and I wrestled with it and I wrestled with it. And in my heart, I just felt like it wasn't right to come on here and be negative. Like, this pod was going to be so much about how I'm losing battles and I'm losing myself, right? Because those are feelings that I've been wrestling with. But I just knew in my heart, right, that like, yo, I don't want to project my negativity into the world right now. Like, I don't. And that's not some grand, like, oh, the world, we love the... No, it's not even that. I just mean, like, to people who are listening, when I say the world, it's just like when you put something out, right? If you put up an Instagram flick, you gave it to the world, right? Like, but I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, like, I just did not want to give off this defeatist attitude. And when I first started penning the script for this episode, that's where my attitude was. That's where I'm looking at the part of the script now, right? I'm looking at the part of the script now where it's now mostly shit that was planned back then. And this is good shit to talk about, but not going to talk about all of it because some of it I framed negatively, and I'm free to do that. That's my journey, not y'all's, right? And just like y'all have journeys that I can't go on with y'all. But that's not where I am, and that's not what I want to project that I am. Not right now. But we mold things. We have things that we have to work our way through, feel our way through, right? You know, how can we say this? Sometimes we can't really handle the scars and the stretch marks that come with growth. I had a gang of shit that I was gonna say, right? That I think now is not the time to say. But at the end of that, where the crux of it laid was that was it. Like, I hate the scars and the stretch marks that come with growth sometimes. Because when it comes with growth that you're super proud of and that was actually a positive experience for you, much like stretch marks that you may get from like working out and lifting weights, or if you like a feminine person, like getting thick or whatever, you know what I mean, rice and cabbage therapy, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, but you might be proud of those stretch marks. Right? If you got a particularly, like, if you got a quote unquote, this is lame, but if you consider yourself a warrior of sorts, right? Then perhaps you are proud of the scars that you earned through battles that you participated in honorably. Perhaps even won. But the ones that come from painful growth, the stretch marks you got because you let yourself go and did not keep to your goals, the stretch marks, the scars that you got because you hurt yourself really bad, traumatic experiences, right? You probably not proud of those, and you look at those and they hurt just a little more, right? You can feel how you got them again. You cringe when you think about those moments. And if anybody that listens to some of these episodes, if you're ever there, I'm with you. That's all, nigga. I'm here, nigga. That's it. We all been there. You know what I'm saying? And that's for us. You gotta give it up for us. Really. Can you tell that he's coming to the end of this podcast? Almost. Listen. Orlando Brown. I've been thinking about this for a long time. If you don't know Orlando Brown, I got bad news for you because I barely know how to describe him, because I only know Orlando Brown as Eddie from That's So Raven. You know what I'm saying? But I think Orlando Brown has now reached a point where it is safe to refer to him as the funniest nigga in America, or at least on the North American continent. I think that in these United States, right? I think that it's time for us to acknowledge, including Puerto Rico. It's time for us to acknowledge that like when he's just him being himself. And this is the problem. I feel so bad because what we do is, number one, we should not be paying as much attention to these people as we pay attention in the first place. But then when we get the ones that are particularly manic or dealing with wildly obvious addiction and mental health issues, they become comedy. And listen, things that people who are in the state that he's constantly in, things that they do and say, be funny. Like, I think that I'm pretty good at towing the line between what's offensive and what's not, like, on this shit. So, like, I'm gonna keep it funky. I think I could say that given the environment that I came up in and just how often I've interacted with people. Not the most of anybody you know, but definitely not the least. So I feel qualified to say that sometimes it don't even be like making fun. Like, people in that state just be saying the funniest shit, bro. Like, and I don't make the rules on none of that shit. Like, listen to this, how the nigga talk about fucking apples.
You're making us pay for water, you son of a...
This is hilarious.
You're making us pay for grapes.
What do you mean? He's not even...
Apples.
He ain't lying.
Things that God gave us for free.
Come on.
You're making...
I'm saying, like... And this is... That's an old clip by the time this come out, right? But I'm just saying, like, that's the funniest shit going right now. Aside from Cat Williams. Cat Williams, and this is all right, I'm gonna finish up on Orlando Brown shit. Like, the nigga is clearly manic, is clearly like suffering from possibly either still abusing drugs or from years of drug abuse. Obviously he was talented in certain areas. I don't give a fuck about that. I think it'd be mad weird to just send more prayers and well wishes to a motherfucker than you do to others just because they're talented at some shit. Like, that's a little bit, right? Like we should be worried about that entire population, and that would probably help the next Orlando Brown and several more people, right? But listen, that nigga is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? As problematic as he is, and I'm sure that this is liable to end for him in a very unfunny way, as it has many times already. You know what I'm saying? Just on his face, bar for bar, word, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, verse for verse. Top 5 funniest niggas walking, man, like, without telling jokes. Now, Cat Williams, I am not... And this is fun because I get to talk about celebrities a little bit, which I will really not do on my podcast. Like, if you've noticed that, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. Like, this is not the celebrity hour, but the nigga Cat goes on Shannon Sharp's, and this is how you know Cat was doing his thing, because I don't watch Shannon Sharp's podcast. I've seen clips of it on Twitter here and there. I don't watch that shit. It's not for me. Nothing against it. I really enjoyed Shannon Sharp on FS1 for a long time. Back when I would like consume that content and stuff like that. Like, I really enjoyed it. I was a really big fan of his from that perspective. I liked what he was doing. So it's nothing against him. His podcast, and it doesn't need me to, like, so that's the other thing. Like, this is me humbly saying, like, because he don't need me to listen. He's doing real good without me. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't consume it. And I would not have consumed an episode had the Cat Williams shit not just, like, the clips was just like, I was like, huh? I was like, nah, this shit sound like a special. Like, and watching that, I ain't gonna cap. It felt criminal that I was watching that shit for free. I don't know if Shay Shay got a tip button. I just, bad man, can't say that. My fault, dogs. We almost fuck up. You know what I'm saying? We can't say that. You know what I'm saying? But I would like to make a donation. I felt like a fucking thief watching Cat Williams be that fucking funny for free. And I have watched all his specials for free. So I'm just talking out my ass because I willingly and pirated all his shit. But that I was like, damn, this shit for the free? Fresh, hot, fresh off the presses? Cause I tried to watch some other interviews he did around that time. Cause he did like one or two other things. And there was no need. There was no need. Him and Shannon was just bouncing off each other. And then I see motherfuckers try to make it problematic. Like, listen, we always take shit that's funny and then try to make the shit problematic. I don't mean to use the royal we, because I ain't a fan of royal shit, right? I don't mean to just be using the royal we all willy-nilly, but I'm saying, though, like, motherfuckers would just take the fun out of everything. Like, you not funny enough to be problematic, son. If you're not funny, leave that shit alone. Like, niggas it was funny that Shannon was so weak. Like, the nigga was laughing like he was laughing and shit like that. Cat really had my son giggling. And that was just funny. It's funny because, like, you know, Shannon be weak. Like, he be doing it up. He one of them niggas who him laughing to make you laugh. Like, now you see motherfuckers trying to turn it into, Shannon in the closet and Cat peeping. Like, nigga, shut up. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? We was laughing because the nigga he threw his knees up like a schoolgirl. It was funny. Like, wasn't really on no mean-spirited shit. Would have never said the word schoolgirl in front of him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, definitely. Respectfully. So, and here these niggas come with the mean-spirited shit. Like, let niggas have shit, bruh. Let niggas have shit, bruh. Like, why the shit kids leave shit at funny? Leave shit at funny. Sometimes the shit just be fun. You got to be real extra funny to be edgy. Don't you know that? It's 2024. If you only good at being edgy, nigga, then you gotta leave that shit in the past. It's over with. Great and better only. From now on with the edgy content. 110%. To 110%. Cause you gonna fuck up the funny sensibilities and shit, my nigga. But Cat was just fucking hilarious. And he's a comedian. I don't do the whole comedians or these truth tellers or the last bastion of free speech and all that other shit. Like, I definitely want to try my hand at comedy. Let me put that out there in case, like, anybody views this as comedian bashing and they're like, but he really want to be one. Like, no, first of all, I don't want to be a comedian. I would like to do an open mic and see what that's like. But, I don't do this thing where, like, if a comedian's a comedian and, like, I'm a lot more willing to suspend any criticism and just be thinking about the funny and just be thinking about the joke, right? So that nigga is a comedian's comedian, boy. He's really good at this shit, my nigga. Like, Cat Williams is fucking great at this shit. And I don't know how the new generation felt about Cat Williams. I don't know how, but I feel like nobody older than me, because I was a little younger than I should have been watching Cat Williams' early shit, but it was the advent of, like, YouTube and shit like that. And, like, you could, like, Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams shit was legendary like that. It was like, I was aged to a point where, like, some fucking Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey and Kings of Comedy, like, that would have been throwback content for me to be watching, but, like, the Cat Williams and Dave Chappelle shit was, like, relevant shit. Like, it's like being directly handed down to me from, like, a cousin that's, like, 2-3 years older. Like, so it's like, there's not that gap. Like, that's what's popping, right? Like, I caught Kevin Hart, like, fresh on YouTube popping. Like, not saying he wasn't out. We know he was out here working, and we know he was in movies and all type of shit, but I'm saying, like, I was a part of that generation of kids that discover him on YouTube. It's like, oh my God, this nigga's mad funny. But see, I'm sick. But I feel like anybody my age and older, like, definitely knows Cat Williams is a masterful comedian. Like, he's a masterful comedian. But he's also incredibly funny in conversation, which they're not all. But they're also not all funny on stage. But they're not all funny on stage. Fucking, I'm standing by it. Get your funny up and your money up. Both of them, nigga. But Cat is just somebody who's a hilarious speaker. And, like, if you just let him talk, it's gonna be the funniest shit that you've ever heard in your life. It more than likely, from phraseology to the exact choice of words to to inflection, everything about the way he delivers statements is fucking hilarious. It's fucking hilarious. Like, nigga, his iconic voice role as a pimp named Slickback is not too out of line from just him talking, my nigga. Like, it's just like, just talk. And that shit gonna go crazy, bro. Just fucking talk. And Shay put that nigga on the couch and let that nigga talk. And damn it if they didn't make gold. If them niggas didn't make absolute gold, least 14 carats. Least. Right? And that shit, I like when marketing organically works for me. I'm not one of these people that is just against marketing in general. I am more likely to advocate for a more educated consumer base, and argue the pitfalls of not properly educating consumer bases in these things, rather than just allow like companies with like huge marketing teams and fucking take advantage of all our subconscious proclivities to fucking like sell us shit that we can't afford and that we're gonna buy because like of the marketing. But like I like when it works organically, right? Like when that shit makes me check out like later Cat Williams specials that I may have never gotten around to just because I didn't even realize they were out. And like I'm seeing funny shit and I'm like, and then that makes me go back and watch old ones that I was more likely to revisit anyway. I was gonna watch those again. There's no way I was not gonna watch my favorite classic Cat Williams stand-ups and shit like that. Like those were getting watched again. Those probably get watched a few times a year, every year anyway. But, you know, back in appreciation and look, I'm talking about the man work. See, that's where we go. Like, I don't go no further than that. I'm telling you how I feel about his comedy. I don't know that nigga. I can't vouch for none of that nigga's behavior. I can't tell you nothing about what he do outside of standing on stage and being recorded and then and having that mass produced into something I can then watch. It's the only time I've ever spent with Cat Williams is watching shit that he's recorded for me to consume, just playing my role. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't get into personal shit because I can't be attached to these niggas in that way. Do I appreciate your art? Would I pay to consume it? Yes, no, go on about my day. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of that simple with me. And I enjoy when it's that simple. So, like, with that shit, it was a real wholesome thing for me. Where I was just like, oh, I think like, that led to a Cat Williams appreciation week. You know what I'm saying? And now that nigga shows up on my YouTube shorts and shit. And it's always good to see that nigga on there. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always making me laugh, nigga. That's all. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's a lot of time, bro. That's like an hour and some change. That's just really all I'm going to give y'all. I don't even know if I'm you know what I'm saying? I might put this out this week and just give it to y'all and then give y'all a fresh episode early in the next week. I kind of wanted to hold it and just put it out next week, but I think it can come out. I think it's solid. We off this, man. Listen, stay with a nigga. Don't ever play with a nigga. That's not what we doing. I probably sound so crazy with this clear head cold. You know what I'm saying? But we appreciate you. Faf, nigga.